namna nimeelezea nyinyi nyuma, ni muhimu sana kazi ambayo tunafanya kwa Afrika na ulimwengu dunia. Ya kwanza, hizi terrorists ambao tunapigana nao hapa ninasumbua nyumbani. Tumepata hizi terrorists ya ADF mingi hapa sana. Kumbe wana train hapa. Wale sasa hivi wanasumbua Nigeria, Boko Haram, wana train nao hapa. Yote wanatoka hapa. So kazi ambayo ninafanya iko muhimu sana. Alafu ingine muhimu ambao jana rais na CLF amesema, mchunge IED. Namna tumeshinda hawa. Wanaenda kukuja na uniform ya TFG kurupuka katikati yetu. Platoon commanders, company commanders, section commanders, kila askari muhakikishe kwamba unachunga mwezi yako. Hii ni sehemu ya undugu kubwa sana hapa Somalia. Hii ni sehemu ya urafiki kubwa sana Somalia. Lakini adui kusongeleza defense, muhakikisha mumuua adui. Tuko pamoja? Yes, sir. Any Al-Shabaab who tries to attack us must die. There is no mediation on that.
So every time people are in the bunkers, they're down, including the president. The president came and asked me, take me away from here. And it was so touching when the president came to me and said, Paul, take me away from here. Around June, I think, we took over Bondere district. The whole of Bondere district was taken. And that relieved us. Also brought security to State House when we took Bondere. It was a bit strategic. It was a high ground. We got some tall buildings, took advantage of that. Al-Shabaab had entrenched themselves so much in the city that they're occupying every household, they're occupying every rooftop. They had sniper guns on roof of tops of buildings. They knew Mogadishu better than us. It was required that we have a force of 12,000 in Mogadishu to take over Mogadishu. But we didn't have that 12,000. If I had the 12,000, I could have conducted such operations. Go through Mogadishu one day, hit it harder, and then consolidate. But I didn't have the force levels. The force numbers were really too low. That's why I decided now to think of phase line operations.
AMISOM and the TFG forces begin to make gains across Mogadishu and target key enemy locations.
My first operations in May was to move and capture Bakara Market. I knew what was going in Bakara. Bakara Market was the financial center of gravity of Al-Shabaab. That's where Al-Shabaab was getting much of its resources to fund the war. I didn't attack Bakara frontal. I first captured the stadium. The stadium was important because it was the headquarters where Al-Shabaab was launching the operations from.
With the stadium under AMISOM control, the force moves towards Mogadishu's commercial center.
Bakara was being a commercial center and highly densely populated. I was avoiding collateral damage and also destruction of the properties of the people. And that could make us have good civil-military relations with the population. And I had also talked to the business community to tell Al-Shabaab to leave Bakara. If they don't, then we come in. But when we surrounded Bakara, they had no option. It took us about some 3-4 days to capture a distance of about 400 meters. Every house, every room, you fight in a room, you find is in another trench. He has dug a hole in a house, and from that house, another house.
AMISOM and the TFG forces eventually take control of Bakara Market. In a closely coordinated operation, AMISOM and the TFG forces push into new areas of Mogadishu, including the important district of Bundire, which surrounds the State House.
You could not sit in that State House in Mogadishu. You can't. You can't even walk in the compound because you'll be shot at. So every time people are in the bunkers, they're down, including the president. The president came and asked me, take me away from here. And it was so touching when the president came to me and said, Paul, take me away from here. Around June, I think, we took over Bondere district. The whole of Bondere district was taken. And that relieved us. Also brought security to State House when we took Bondere. It was a bit strategic. It was a high ground. We got some tall buildings, took advantage of that. What we need now is not to overstress ourselves in this tall thicket. We need now to either all of us combine a force and we go to industrial road. I told 33rd Battalion now to fight through and occupy steel factory, the German factory. The German factory was where they were making the IEDs. That's where they were making these improvised explosive devices of all kinds, because there are machines there to drill, make explosives. And I knew it. I knew that's where they're operating for. I told the Burundians to move from MOD to come to cigarette factory, as we are supporting them. They fought through to cigarette factory, and that's how that line came in. But still, we found ourselves still in the thicket of the urban area.
AMISOM captures Afgoye and pushes forward into the surrounding region.
Our intention is to get the whole of Lower Shabelle. That is Middle Shabelle and Lower Shabelle. These are areas of Mecca, Afgoye, and Balad. And subsequently connect to Baidoa. This is the mission. Of course, we had been getting a lot of Al-Shabaab resistance around all these other areas, but we have taken them on. Right now, as I talk, Al-Shabaab is on the run, and we are pursuing them. The motive is to pursue Al-Shabaab until we get them. The strongest message I can give to them is the Somalians who are with Al-Shabaab, they still have room to come out and join other brothers of theirs for the development of this country. But to the foreign terrorists, it's very unfortunate they did not have any room. And then secondly, they will not deny the people of Somalia freedom or happiness. They must know that the African Union has a mandate to ensure that we pacify Somalia like any other part on the continent. So terrorism is not going to be accepted on this continent.
As AMISOM advances into regions beyond Mogadishu and its outer areas, troop numbers are bolstered by reinforcements from Djibouti and Kenya.
The most important.
I remember there was time there was no water, but I was giving water and treatment, and then they were complaining. They were complaining why we are doing that. That the food and the medicine they have is only for AMISOM, not for civilians. Then my argument is, why are we here? Why are we in Somalia? What are we doing here? If we cannot help the population, then we pack our bags and go back to our respective countries. We are here to help the civilians. So the little we have, we should share it with them. When I was operating there, I decided to open health centers. Women could come as far as Ethiopia. Can you imagine? For treatment.
She's a pregnant woman. The bomb blast has landed her home. And many people is there from the dying, the family, children, like father lost. And many people, because also she have one child, one kid died.
Our doctors were conducting very sophisticated operations. They conducted very, very difficult operations, which really won the hearts of many Somalians.
Namna nimeelezea nyinyi nyuma, ni muhimu sana kazi ambayo tunafanya kwa Afrika na ulimwengu dunia. Ya kwanza, hizi terrorists ambao tunapigana nao hapa ni nasumbua nyumbani. Tumepata hizi terrorists ya ADF mingi hapa sana. Kumbe wana train hapa. Wale sasa hivi wanasumbua Nigeria, Boko Haram, wana train nao hapa. Yote wanatoka hapa. So kazi ambayo ninafanya iko muhimu sana. Alafu ingine muhimu ambao jana rais na CLF amesema, mchunge IED. Namna tumeshinda hawa. Wanaenda kukuja na uniform ya TFG kurupuka katikati yetu. Platoon commanders, company commanders, section commanders, kila askari muhakikishe kwamba unachunga mwezi yako. Hii ni sehemu ya undugu kubwa sana hapa Somalia. Hii ni sehemu ya urafiki kubwa sana Somalia. Lakini adui kusongeleza defense, muhakikisha mumuua adui. Tuko pamoja? Yes, sir. Any Al-Shabaab who tries to attack us must die. There is no mediation on that.